Hello there, friends and RC family. My name is Alec from High Noon Hobbies, and if you're new to this channel, I very much appreciate you checking it out. I hope that you'll stick around, watch at least this video, see if this content seems worth your while, and consider subscribing so that then I can say to you, if you aren't new here, welcome back to yet another Friday upload. This is going to be a fun one. There's a little bit of a collaboration between High Noon Hobby and West Desert Wheeler. We're going to do a little head-to-head battle between the High Noon Hobby Golden Capra and the West Desert Wheeler Tiger Capra. So I'm pretty excited to see these runs and to see who comes out on top, although I'm also a little bit scared, so let's just jump straight into these runs and see how it goes for me. If you didn't catch part 1 of this collaboration, definitely head over to the West Desert Wheeler channel or Logan's channel and check out part 1 where you can see course 1 of our 2-course run, and we're going to now take a look at course 2, and then at the end of this video we will combine those scores and see who comes out on top for this little head-to-head battle. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into these runs. All right, back out at the beautiful Three Peaks area near Cedar City, Utah, where we were stationed for the North versus South Finals, the first annual edition. So let's take a look at my run and see what happened here. Now, Gate 1 was not particularly difficult, but it was just a nasty off-camber climb, and the most difficult part about it is, as you can see, that face that my passenger rear tire is just about to butt up against. Now, I will say I feel a bit like a cheater on this route, having watched my run back. I was bragging the whole run about not having really any drag brake, so to speak of. That allowed me to make a lot of maneuvers without having to take a reverse, and while we didn't count it in this particular competition, this head-to-head versus me versus Logan, I think that in a fair competition, some of these would probably have been counted as reverses. So I'll make sure to point those out to you, but I won't be adding them into the score just because we didn't count them personally as we were going through this particular course. Gate 2 there, the bigger your tires, the easier that little gap is. Although with a Capra, really any Class 3 truck that has really good clearance on the front of it, you're not going to have much of a problem at all, because even if you nose out on that, you can kind of wiggle your way up that face and over the little crack. Now, I'm trying something pretty dicey here. I'm just going to try to give it a little bit of throttle through the steepest part of that face, and that doesn't work out for me. Luckily, it does work out in terms of landing back on my my tires there and not turtling. This Capra is infamous for turtling, but I decide after one attempt at that I'm going to can it and take the easier route up from the side like that. So you can see, turns that gate into a bit of a side hill, but not really much of a problem at all for a Class 3 truck. Now we're going to head into one of the more difficult gates, I would say, just a pretty nasty side hill here. And really, one of the more difficult parts about this side hill is the notch aspect of it, meaning that it really wants to grab either of those tires on the passenger side. And if you do somehow allow that face or even the grit at the bottom of this V-notch to grab onto one of those tires, typically you will be dragged down into it. Now, that being said, I was really attempting to stay as high as possible, and unfortunately just had a bit of a throttle slip there and ended up bumping into the aero cone for Gate 5. Now, that did play to my benefit here, because now that aero cone is not live anymore. So again, right there, no drag brake. Logan even saying, you know, if you were any closer, or if you had any more reverse there, probably would have called you out for a reverse. But he's being real kind to me and letting me have that one. So able to make it up that ledge with just a tiny little bump after I get myself more well aligned for it. And now I've got to set myself up for gate number 7 here up above. So you got to make your way up this little water track and into this bowl. And I am going to hit gate number 7 before I hit that bonus over there that you can see just in the corner of your screen. The reason I'm doing that is really just because it's the sequence I thought would be the most efficient. I didn't really think that one or the other would impact each other, but I just thought in terms of flow, this would be the safer route to take rather than the outer route to this bonus gate first and then the gate 7 itself. So you can see, taking this outer route here, trying to get myself lined up. The bonus gate is coming towards the cameraman, so I have to make a nice turn here and get myself lined up. Once my nose is facing the climb, get the rear lined up, and then this is basically the line here. Now, you may remember we watched a few competitors go through this gate previously, and this was actually kind of a trick line. If you take the line that I'm taking now, yes, it might be tough, but it's really not too tough whatsoever. The difficult part about this particular bonus gate is that we anticipated people to take the crack, or to try to take the crack. And if they tried to take the crack, they probably would end up on the roof or in a bad predicament. So just knowing that you shouldn't or you couldn't take that crack is really all you needed to know to find the right line. It's a pretty easy line once you find it. So now we're going to go into the second bonus here, and really this bonus here, this is certainly something that I would rather approach with an MOA truck than a Capra with no dig. This is a toughie, and you can see I overshoot just at the beginning. I'm going to take a reverse here, and then I'm going to try my best to anchor myself with my rear axle, keeping it pointed upwards so that it stays on that upper shelf while I drop my front axle down into this hole. You can see there, trying to avoid both cones as best I can, and then really just working that front end through as I continue to keep my rear axle high, and then at the very last second steer that rear axle through. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to keep it composed through the descent itself, but I did manage to get through there clean, and I was pretty impressed with myself. I watched a lot of guys struggle on that gate, and I really think it was, in large part, Logan's co-driving, his spotting through this course that helped me figure that line out. So I really do appreciate, even though this was a head-to-head competition between Logan and I, Logan helped me a ton with his insights as to how to hit these lines. So I really appreciate that, Logan. I definitely would not have performed this well had it not been for your help, and so, you know, thanks for making me look good. I appreciate it. Here, this is a nasty ascent. A lot of trucks also struggled with this ascent. My truck in particular just not having any D's bands or any sort of restraints. If you don't know what D's bands are, I definitely recommend you check him out on Instagram. I believe he's floating around on Facebook as well, but Dustin or D's Bands, he makes a great product to help restrain your shock travel. Now, it doesn't fully restrict it. It's more like an elastic band that allows the shock to reach its full travel, but it keeps it just a little bit more composed through ascents like that. But as you can see, through my second attempt there, I was able to keep it more composed. It was really a matter of timing. It was a matter of getting that front axle kind of just over the breakover angle, and then maintaining just a bit of momentum through there to make sure that you didn't peel off the wall. So was able to keep that momentum the second time around. And now gate number 10. Gate number 10, another just absolute doozy. I saw this gate eat tons of trucks up. We as a channel watched Taylor go through in his Wraith, and even with those massive tires, he just got absolutely sucked into this hole. And I was definitely having flashbacks to that moment as I was running through here myself. So I was really trying to avoid at all costs that gap on the passenger side. So you can see I'm going really high driver, and then I'm just trying to work it here so that I don't slide into that cone on the driver's side. You can see utilizing four-wheel steer here, trying to just avoid it as best I can, and there's the finish with a -3 at 8:12. Pretty proud of that run, especially going up against Logan. Had some nerves, but I appreciate him being a good sport. So let's take a look at his run now and see how things pan out for me. All right, so Logan in the famous Tiger Capra. sitting on Vanquish product axles there. Just an absolutely gorgeous looking setup, and we're going to have some technical difficulties right out of the get-go here. I don't know if you caught that for just a moment, but he's having some troubles with dig. It's going to rear its ugly head here in just a moment. As you can see, it looks and it is as though he is just front-wheel drive only. So he is going to sit here for just a moment and mess around with his endpoints on that dig servo, trying to get it to lock in. And you can see now he's got rear wheel drive, as well as front wheel drive. His 4-wheel drive is back. And so we're going to continue on with the course, making Gate 1 look easy. Going to head into Gate 2 here. He's got slightly larger tires than I do, so he's going to make this look like a absolute piece of cake. Didn't even boop his nose at all on that crack. Going to use a little bit of dig to swing his way around as tightly as possible into Gate 3. Just a little bit of a descent here. Really, it's all about maintaining throttle control on this gate number 3 here. I want to give a shout out to Zark standing right there. He was the one who filmed my runs. I really appreciate you, buddy. This video definitely wouldn't have happened without your help, so I'm glad that you were there, and I really appreciate you. Logan taking the same approach that I did and almost gets it. He maintains his momentum better than I did, and he is definitely more planted than my Capra, so he didn't flip over, but he doesn't quite make it. He ends up taking that same line out to the passenger side and then working his way back through the gate. Very well done there. Good assessment, I would say. And now we head into the first gate that I tapped here. This is definitely a doozy, and with Logan's truck as well, we've got quite a bit of weight that's trying to pull you down this side hill. So no matter how planted you are, this side hill was just pretty loose, pretty gritty, and as you can see, Logan almost, and of course it wouldn't be a High Noon hobby video without a gimbal freak out right when it's least wanted, but he did end up making it through there nice and clean. Now we're headed into the next gate here. This was the one that I ended up kind of cheating with a bit of the non-drag brake reverses. Logan looking definitely a lot more planted on this face, but he does end up peeling away from it just a bit, and to his disadvantage, he has to take a reverse here because his drag brake actually functions. So yeah, sorry about that, Logan. I'll definitely get that shaped up a bit for our next head-to-head competition, so it's a little bit more fair. But ends up making it through there clean, headed into gate number 7. He's actually going to take the outer line to the bonus first. You can see him crab walking his way over there. This is a very, very steep side hill here, so this is a good approach to it. You can see using that 4-wheel steer wiggle to make his way off that kind of upper bench so that he's not so sideways, and works out quite well for him, and he's well aligned here for gate number 7. So working his way in, getting a nice little tire lift, but nothing concerning, and then just kind of working your way into this crack. And with 4-wheel steer, really not too much of a problem at all to make your way around that upper or that driver's side cone. Makes his way through nicely, and now we're just going to dump ourselves into this little bowl. I really liked that maneuver. I thought that was quite good. That was a Logan original maneuver for this course. Didn't see any other competitors give that a try, but I do appreciate the ingenuity there. Headed through gate 7 now. Very nice. Gate 7 really wasn't too bad at all. Not too much to worry about. And now we're going to head into this second bonus here that is quite a bit of a doozy, although I will say Logan has dig on his Capra, which may end up helping at the end of the day here. So you can see he's going to take the same approach as me, little bit of a different geometry just because of the different axles, the different setup overall, but still basically following the same line there. You can see Logan really trying to keep that rear axle high, and then he starts straightening it out. I personally thought that when I was watching this in real time, he may have straightened that back axle out just a little bit too early, but no, I actually think he did it just perfectly, and it kept himself planted all the way throughout. I think the extra extra weight from those axles, the metal axles, definitely helped in keeping him planted there. Because he does have larger tires, he should have been a little bit less settled there, but I think the weighting of his truck definitely helped in keeping that nice and planted. Now into Gate 8. Gate 8 was just starting to get eroded by this point in the day. This was the day after the North versus South finals. We had just kept these courses up so we could run some head-to-heads on them afterwards. So you really just had to bump and keep some momentum through Gate 8. Not a big deal, but if you didn't know that going into it, you might get caught off guard. Logan and I both had watched a few runs on this course beforehand, so it wasn't too big of a deal at all for either of us. You see Logan's trying to take this approach where he heads in very far to the passenger side on Gate 9 here and then works his way to the driver's side. And I thought that was going to work, but it's just such an intense angle that he is having trouble staying balanced on the face. You can see that he tries to use dig there to save it, and then he decides the only way off is to peel off the wall, and then we get basically the best recovery I've ever seen in any head-to-head matchup. So kudos to you, Logan, on that one. I remember you saying during that moment that you were going to have to remember that trick, and I will as well. That was a pretty impressive four-wheel steer turtle recovery, and I will have to remember that trick, and hopefully I can pull it off next time I need it. But an absolutely incredible approach here to gate number 9. Now, I'm not sure why he didn't attempt the approach that I did. If he thought that he just couldn't quite make it, he might peel off because of those taller tires. But that was quite an interesting and ingenuitive approach to gate number 9 there. And then with those bigger tires also making it more difficult for him to squeeze back through the rock and gate number 9 to get to gate number 10. But well done, Logan. He was saying that was totally made up on the spot. He didn't see anyone else run that line, and I didn't either. That line coming in really, really high to the passenger side and then essentially side-hilling your way around the cone on the passenger side was very, very well done. So now into gate number 10 here, the final gate, and we're looking at a negative 19 at a 657. So definitely beating me out on this course. But let's bring it back up to the face cam and take a look at our overall scores and see who came out on top between High Noon Hobby and West Desert Wheeler out at the North vs. South finals. All right, everyone, I hope that was as much fun for you to watch as it was for me to compete in. I definitely had a great time, and I want to give another shout out to Logan from West Desert Wheeler for putting this together with me and allowing me to collaborate with you on our YouTube channels. It definitely has helped me a lot in growing this channel, and I really appreciate all the insights that you've given me, as well as all of the insights you've given me in terms of just driving, because I think you're a really good driver, and I learn a lot every time we go out. That being said, it's time to take a look at these final scores and see what happened. So if you were paying attention to part 1 over on Logan's channel, and if you haven't seen that, stop right now. Don't look at these final scores. Go look at that video first and then come back and we'll take a look at these final scores afterwards. But for the first course that we ran over on Logan's channel, Logan ran it with 1 reverse and 2 gates, but he wasn't able to get the bonus gate. For me on that first course, I didn't get any reverses. I did get 2 gates as well, but I was able to clean a bonus gate. So for that first course, Logan ended up with a 21 and I ended up with a 10. Now on this course, this was a bit of a doozy. Logan ended up with a negative 19 and I ended up with a negative 3. So what does that mean? That means our final scores here, Logan ended up with a 2 overall on both courses and I ended up with a 7 overall on both courses. So unfortunately, dang it, Logan, you beat me this time, which means we're just going to have to do it again. But I am pretty proud to be within 5 points of Logan. I think that is a decent showing, especially for a guy who's been in the hobby for less than a year. And I just had a really, really great time. So I hope that there's some information in this video that'll help you guys out. But overall, I hope that you just enjoyed watching these runs. And I hope that you'll stay tuned this weekend. On Sunday, we're going to be doing a live stream, High Noon at High Noon, and then next week's going to be a little bit dicey. We're going to be headed out to Proline by the Fire, and so I'm not certain if I'm going to be able to get a video video out on Friday. I'm going to try my very best, but if I don't, you know why. It's because I'm out in California and I'm getting as much content as I possibly can for all of you guys so that I can bring it back to the channel and we can continue to enjoy these videos together every Friday and Sunday. So without anything else to say, I hope you have a lovely weekend. I hope you get some good crawling in. If you made it to the end of the video, do forgive. Please forgive. Always be forgiving. Don't forget to give it a like, give it a little thumbs up there, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and we will see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.